Alright, first of all, before I started the video, I wanted to say thank you for 153 subscribers. That's really good for me. And all the support for the channel. Even though, yeah, I know I'm still very relatively small, or very small. But I really do appreciate all the support and all the subscribers and everything. But with that being said, and that being out of the way, this is my 1974 Caprice Classic two-door coupe. That's a mouthful. And I'm basically just going to tell the story of how I got the car. I've showed this car off multiple times. I'll probably towards the end tell you everything I've got in the motor and what I'm doing to it. But basically, yeah, basically this car, I bought it from my shop teacher, like I think about a year or two ago. From my shop teacher in Votech. I don't know what happened to the shift knob. It ain't got a motor or anything because he bought it originally. I don't know how the car happened. Well, he bought it from this younger girl. I think she inherited it from like her grandmother or something, and he must have bought it for dirt cheap. Because he bought it. It was running and driving. He pulled the motor out and put it in an old Jeep. Well, one day I was talking to him. He was talking about this car. We were moving it. That's why we were about to pull the motor out of it. And he jokingly said, I asked Simi jokingly if he'd sell it. And he said $200. I said, all right. Well, it took me a while. And eventually with some, this was before I had a job. So I say I bought this car myself, but really it was probably my grandparents who bought me this car because I bought it with Christmas money. Because I bought it when I was like 16, I think. No, that's not right. Couldn't have been. Because I got it right before all the pandemic happened. I bought it when I was 17. Which was not that long ago. That was only about almost 2 years ago. I'm 19 right now. So, anyway, I digress. Anyway, I bought the car, and I bought it for $200. Took me a year and a half almost to bring it up to almost the entire school year to bring it to the house. That was not my intention. My intention was I bought it right when we first came back. So I'd have been 18. I bought it right when we first came back. I bought it right there for $200. He didn't believe me, and he said he'd give me the bill of sale. And it's not I didn't trust him. It's that I didn't want my parents to kill me when I just said, yeah, take the bill of sale, because he'd given me the title. I know he would have. It's not that I didn't trust him. It's I didn't want my parents to kill me. But yeah, and I got the title and everything, and I kept trying to get a U-Haul to rent a U-Haul, but could never get time to, and nothing ever lined it up. I had time to, but no one could ever line up anything. No one else had time to. So eventually, the very last day before spring break, before they closed, spring break, before they closed everything for the pandemic, we got this car on a U-Haul and towed it to the house. And it sat where that boat is for about 2-3 weeks, and then we pushed it over here. I think the original motor this thing had in it was a 400 with a 400 transmission. And it was pulled out to go into an old aircraft carrier Jeep. That doesn't matter. Another thing about my motor, I'll tell you the story about that one. Originally for this car, I was set on, I'm going to get either a 6.2 liter LS or 6.0 LS or a Cadillac 500. I was going to get a Cadillac 500, a 6.0 LS or 6.2 LS, or I think it was a 496, very last casting big block. That didn't happen. I was going through various junkyards. We'd found a 454, or so we thought, we bring it up to the shop that I'm building, and the guy I'm building the motor with was like, "No, you don't want to build this. This thing's garbage," because it's not a garbage motor, but it's not something you're going to make power out of. It was a old 366 big block out of a truck. So we brought it up to the junkyard, and the junkyard at first didn't believe us, and then we told them where it was, and the shop's pretty well known in our area, and everybody knows he knows his stuff. So we told him where we got it from, and then the old dude running the junkyard was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's not what it is then." And he took it back, gave me my money back, and I think we were looking for another one, and that day we called up at another junkyard. And the guy didn't have any big blocks, but the junkyard itself didn't. But the manager and runner of the junkyard was like, "Well, actually, I've got an old," he thought it was a 427. It turned out to be a 402. But he disassembled it like 30 years ago. He bought it probably back in the 80s because it's out of a 60s car. It's out of a 60s, probably Super Sport or something like that. But it turned out to be a 402. Big block. And I bought it the complete bottom end, the complete motor for $300, or almost the complete motor. It was the short block because it came with the crank, the rods, the pistons, the heads, which the heads didn't go to that motor. They came off of a 60s era 454, one of the first 454s. And I bought the whole thing for $300 for a 402 60s muscle car era big block. I was told I got a really good deal on that motor. Originally thought it was a 396, but it's a 402. So I thought that motor was three things for a long time. Don't know what it came out of. We know it's not. We know it wasn't a car motor because the casting number's a truck motor because the casting number says it's a car motor. Really doesn't matter. Back in the 60s, they're pretty much the same thing. Truck motor, car motor, are pretty much the same. It doesn't really matter. I think the car motor has a different one. And another reason I think it came out of a SS is because mine's got the steel crank and not the iron crank. My crank weighs like 10 pounds less than the normal crank. That'd be like in a truck motor. So basically, I guess I'll go ahead and tell you everything I've done to it. Now this isn't cheap. The motor's almost ready. I am missing the carburetor, the pulleys, and the carburetor, the pulley, the starter, and the radiator. You know, the belt too, but 5 things is what I'm missing. The carburetor's the most expensive, and I'm probably going to be getting it Friday. It won't be here Friday, but I'm probably going to get it Friday. It's a 750 quick fuel is what the carburetor is going to be on it, because this motor is a 614, I think it was hydraulic, I can't remember. It's a roller motor. It's a custom ground comp cam 615 duration lift roller cam with roller rockers, ported and polished heads, which I messed up on one of the exhaust ports, so it's not going to flow quite as good as what it should, but it'll be fine from what this is, because this is a street car. Domed pistons. It's got pop-up pistons. The bottom end is stock. It is a stock crank with stock rods, but I'm not running any boost into it. I'm not running any nitrous in it, and I'm not doing none of that. It's got what else did I say? What else was I saying? Oh, it's got a MSD ignition setup. Everything on it is MSD. Which honestly, I could have saved a couple of dollars by doing another one and then rebuilding, but I was being stubborn and I wanted MSD. So, everything on it's MSD. It's been bored 60 over, so now it's like, instead of being a 402 or something like that, it's like a 409, 412, or something like that. Oh, come on. Focus. And it's getting hooked up to a fully built race transmission, TH400. It's got a straight cut gears, shift kit, smaller sprockets, and I believe the bell housing is aftermarket. And I'm going to hook it up. I don't have this yet. The transmission I do have, but I don't have the differential. But I know I'm going to hook it up to, I believe, an Auburn limited slip differential with, I think it was 342 gears in it. So, I believe is what the gearing is. Or I think that's what I'm going to run. And then I'm going to put, I forget what the name of the struts was, but I'm going to put aftermarket struts all around it, be a street car. And this bench seat I'm going to replace with some racing seats. The interior, I'm going to leave pretty much as it is. I'm going to leave it pretty much as it is, minus the bench seat. I'm going to fix the seals and everything. Anything that has to be fixed, I'm going to fix. The rims, I'm going to leave the same. Well, the rear I'm not. The rear I'm changing out to jet. The rear I'm changing out to, which I already have those. They're up there at the shop I'm building the motor out with. They are 10-inch American Racing mag rims. Because I'm going to run 50s on the back of this car. Because I'm going to tub the rear and put a fuel cell on the back. The front, I'm going to leave just the stock steel rims on the highway for the road, and when it's on the drag strip, they're going to be replaced with some skinnies. The grill, I want to fix that. I kind of want to get another one, but I don't want to spend the cost of what they are, because a grill for this car, everything on this car is expensive if it's cosmetic. I have that piece right there that I have, and I'm going to upgrade the headlights to aftermarket to LED. The grill, I want to fix or get a new one. And then I'm probably going to throw some clear coat over it as it is, sand down all the rust spots and fix the holes, or the 2 holes that are in here on the back of the fenders of the trunk. Sand down the really bad rust spots and clear coat it. And that'll be my Caprice. Oh, I'm going to get a badge. It used to say Caprice Classic back here, but somebody pried the Classic off. So that or it fell off going down the road, one of the two. And I got to clean out the trunk. But basically, yeah, that's everything I'm going to do to it, and a little story about how I got the car. Nobody probably cares, but I figured I'd share it anyway. Thank you for watching, and oh, also, if you made it this far, you like at least hearing me talk, and if you want to support this channel, the biggest way to do it is like, comment, subscribe, and share it to anyone who might be interested in this video and the channel itself. That is the biggest thing you can do to help. And if you want to do that, thank you. If not, otherwise, and you just made it this far, thank you for watching, and have a good one.